Hey guys, and welcome to yet another TrewRehab video. So I'm bringing you week 7 of our 7 diets in 7 weeks, and I have to say I'm kind of glad to see the end of this. It's been a pretty tough 7 weeks, being controlled, I guess, in my diets over the last 7 weeks, and I like to have a bit of variety and, I guess, control in what I get to eat and how I get to eat it and when I get to eat it, and these last 7 weeks have certainly pulled me back and kind of really made it quite a bit of a challenging 7 weeks. But final review this week, guys, and I guess I wanted to kind of go into the commercial world of dieting, and so there's probably 100 I could have chosen from Michelle Bridges, Weight Watchers, Jenny Craig, Slim Fast, all of those, but I ended up going with Light and Easy just due to, I guess, my lifestyle, being quite a busy lifestyle with work and workouts and, I guess, just a social life and obviously with my wife and things like that. So I wanted to go light and easy because of just the pre-packaged nature and, I guess, delivery of it coming to your front door and being packaged out into the 7 days just made this whole process a lot easier. Whereas the other ones like a Jenny Craig or a Weight Watchers, you have to go and attend clinics and things like that. So I just wanted to go down this route and made it a lot easier for me. So light and easy this week. I went the 1800 calorie option, and I went for all of the meals. So everything was prepared for me. It all arrived on Friday last week, and then obviously went for 7 days from there. And I went into it kind of a little cautious, knowing that most of the meals, I guess, are pre-packaged and frozen meals. And so I was expecting it kind of be, from what I've heard before, is kind of just glorified plain food. And so I guess from there, I kind of had a little bit of hesitation in it and kind of how nutritious these meals are actually going to be. Most kind of frozen meals that you get from kind of a supermarket shop will be heavily salted, heavily processed, and just have no nutritional value whatsoever. So that was kind of my mindset going into this. But I'll say upfront and honest, I was pleasantly surprised. The dinners were varied, and I don't know what my wife's doing there. She's trying to do a close-up or something, but thank you there, Veronique. They were actually highly nutritious. They weren't heavily salted like I thought they would be. They're not heavily processed. They are, as they say on the ads, they're quite cooked fresh, frozen, and then delivered to you. And they've got pretty short expiry dates on them. They're not kind of, a year from now you can still eat these. I mean, you do have some time and flexibility with it, but you do have to eat them in a relatively short amount of time. So that's kind of a good thing because obviously they do it as a weekly basis. And so knowing that your meals are kind of done fresh, delivered to you at your front door, and then obviously just you reheat them and away you go, that was a great thing. But that said, it was really only the dinners that were kind of pre-packaged and of needing to be microwaved to kind of be redone. The rest of the meals were pretty much I guess freshly made, and you just kind of made them up. So most lunches that I had were kind of salads with some protein. Most of the breakfasts that were involved were some sort of toast and then some eggs, and I guess I had one morning I had eggs Benedict with some bacon, spinach and tomato. That was fantastic. One of my lunches was like a chicken Caesar salad and a Vietnamese salad that I had with a kind of dressing. That was great. And most of the dinners were some sort of curry, or I had a roast one night. I had a spaghetti bolognese, I think, another night. And it was a really easy process to set that all up as well. If you want to go really in depth, you can kind of choose every single meal yourself and kind of, that's the dinners I want, that's the breakfast I want, these are the lunches I want. Or you can just go the favourites, and Light and Easy will just kind of basically take a random selection of their favourite selected meals and dish them all out for you. And because I didn't really want to have to sit down for an hour and go through that when I was pre-planning the process, I basically just hit that favourite button, and it was a really easy process to kind of go from being a completely non-existent customer of theirs to having the food delivered only a couple of days later. So again, the whole process, and sorry for the pun, but being light and easy, it was very easy to do. So that was something that was a surprise to me, just how good quality the food was and how it all tasted and how easy it was to kind of get it all. So kind of, I guess that wraps up most of the questions that I tend to ask this, but let's kind of go through what we normally would from there. And we're moving, okay. So a question from the viewers. I guess most people asking me this week, and I had a few emails sent to me, and just a few clients just throughout the week kind of asking me, what does it cost? Well, I went basically the highest option you can. So I went for the 1800 calorie, which is the biggest volume one they have. and I went for breakfasts, lunches and dinners. And there's a whole host of combinations that you can do that's far less than that. So you can go right down to 1,200 calories, and they have a mid-range of 1,500 calories as well. And they have, you know, just breakfasts and dinners, or lunch and dinners, dinners only. They have a whole different selection. But my one was $160, and you might kind of, I guess, straight off the bat go, "Ooh, that's pretty expensive for a week's worth of food." But if you really sat down and had to think about kind of, I guess, what you spend week to week, most of us probably buy lunch a couple of days a week. We're probably out for dinner once, maybe twice a week, and then our regular groceries. You're probably spending in excess of $150 per person in your house. Now, I might be completely wrong. You guys can let me know of that and leave a comment on kind of what you may be spending per week. But I'd probably push you to kind of really have a think about it, and I'm pretty sure most of you are probably spending over $150 per head in your house for adults. Now obviously kids and that would obviously be less than that, but I guess, yeah, so kind of answer the question in regards to how much it costs. It was $170 for that 1,800 calorie option with breakfasts, lunches and dinners, and it goes right down to about $50 or $60 if you're just looking at having dinners for a lower calorie output. So that was the most asked question I had this week, and the other one was how was the quality of food, and I kind of answered that prior, and I thought, as I said, the food was pretty good considering it's pre-packaged and frozen meals. So let's look at the top 5. There's the dog. He's waiting for dinner, so I guess I better hurry up with this one. So he's sitting in his bowl there ready to get some dinner. Adam's top 5. So how did I feel? It was great. I mean, as I said, I had a variety of foods all week. Breakfasts, lunches and dinners and snacks and desserts were all sorted for me. And that was great. So I had no kind of worries with this one like I have in previous ones where I was kind of restricted on certain foods I was allowed to have and when I could have them. This one, variety, I never had the same meal twice this week. And if I was to then go and do it again, there are hundreds of different meals, and so you'd never really get kind of bored or tired of the variety that they do have and how you feel. You know, you could plenty energized, and I had plenty of food throughout the day. Did I like the diet? As I said previously, I loved it, and to be honest, it's something that, because I live a pretty hectic lifestyle, they are starting to gear some of their ads towards kind of people who do live a busy lifestyle, not necessarily just as a weight loss program. And personally, I could probably see myself while Amy is away at work for the week, I'd probably see myself possibly in the future, if I know I've got a pretty busy week ahead, pre-ordering a week's worth of food and doing it again. So I think that's a pretty good kind of answer to kind of saying that, yeah, I did like it and I'd probably do it again in the future. How easy was it to follow? The whole thing basically is pre-planned and packaged out for you. So you get your box delivered to on whatever day they attend this day.
The box.
And so it was then, I guess, when you open the box, it was then in 7 different days, and all of your breakfasts and lunches and dinners are all sorted in there. And it basically just tells you, put it in the freezer, put it in the refrigerator, or keep it just at room temperature. So it was really well sorted out. The menu is sent to you as well, so you know exactly what you're having every day and what's every meal. So it was made just absolutely as easy as can be with that one. So was it costly? Again, answered that question for you. In the kind of interim, you might think that it's quite costly, but when you kind of measure it out, I don't think it's costly at all when you consider kind of what people are probably spending on lunches these days. You know, you speak of most people kind of working in the city, they have lunch every day, $12 to $15 per meal on there. There's kind of $50, $60 alone. You're going to then have maybe a dinner out once or twice a week. There's another $100, $150 there. So you're pretty much well ahead if you kind of only stuck to this one. And then 5, would I recommend it? And as I said, I think the best glowing report I can give for this is the fact that I'd probably do it again. It was a fantastic program and something that I would recommend for 2 different people. One, if you're someone who struggles with kind of, I guess, getting to cooking your meals most nights of the week because you live a very busy lifestyle, and someone, I guess, who just doesn't like cooking, I think those kind of people would certainly benefit from this. And the other person would be someone who struggles with portion control. I think we all know these days what kind of foods are good for us and what kind of foods are bad for us. We all know McDonald's probably isn't something you should be eating too much of, and we probably all know that fruits and vegetables are probably good for us. So we know that, but portion control, I think, is what most people get wrong with regards to their diets these days. And so this one portions everything out for you, and it gives you a kind of really good understanding kind of that. And so if when you're doing this diet, you actually I guess, take note of what the portion sizes are and what you should be having and kind of sticking to that, you could then go off this program maybe a month later after kind of getting those ideas and start implementing this yourself with your own cooking and kind of see some really great results. So I think someone who struggles with kind of losing weight but is eating healthy and the portion size is the issue, or someone who just lives that busy lifestyle or just really dislikes cooking would someone be probably people I would recommend this diet for. So I guess that's my 7 diets in 7 weeks, guys. And again, I just like to thank everyone for all the support, the likes, the shares, and I've seen this being shared around plenty. So I really do appreciate all of that. The special guest I had last week, Danny, I'd really like to thank him for running through the week 6 diet that we went through. My wife behind the camera, I'd like to thank her for being supportive for some of the weird and wonderful diets I had to go through this time. She had to kind of, I guess, put up with some of them as well. But on the whole, I guess it wasn't too difficult for us to kind of do this over the last 7 weeks. I'm going to be doing a big wrap-up video of the entire program next week, and then I'll also be doing an information night, and I'll email this out, and I'll probably put this out on Facebook as well for anyone to attend. It's going to be down at Melbourne Sports Aquatic Centre. I'm just getting dates and times organised with that at the moment. And it's going to be a big Q&A night. So come along and come and have a chat to me. You can ask me anything that you wanted to over the last 7 weeks, but you might not have been able to get a hold of me. You can ask me on that night and I'm more than happy to answer any questions. And then we're going to be kind of talking more about kind of my recommendations of kind of how to take your diets further into the future. So again, a big thank you from all of you. If you've loved this series, please like it, please share it. Subscribe to my channel if you want to see more videos come in the future. I've got my current one going at the moment, which is how to train for a marathon in 2 days. I'm really loving that one, guys, and I'm getting some great responses from some weekend runners right up to some kind of, I guess, more seasoned marathon runners who are finding this some informative type stuff. So again, thank you all for attending. 7 weeks has now gone by. I don't have to worry about my food consumption. My beautiful wife, as a celebratory thing for me, has cooked us cupcakes. So I'm going to have a cupcake tonight and I can't wait. See you next time on TrewRehab videos. Thanks a lot. See ya.